and welcome to a sound advice video overview of the Bluesound Node icon. The Node icon is the flagship member of the range and is newly launched. It is £900 and it's significantly different to any Node that we've seen before. First and foremost, it still does the things that we associate with a Bluesound Node. It's still a wireless and wired streaming device. It uses the fantastic BlueOS streaming app, which I've gone on at length in other reviews, but basically combines the ability to access your own library of content with pretty much every streaming service going. The only notable absentee is Apple Music. And then you can have many different BlueOS devices, which is both Bluesound, NAD, and a host of other manufacturers, with more joining at all the time, and combine them all in one easy to use and thoroughly intuitive control app. What the icon does is take this interface and then builds a more substantial product around it. This is the first Bluesound product to use 2 digital to analog conversion chips instead of 1. This means that it is completely balanced, which means around the back, as well as your standard RCA outputs here, you get XLR balanced outputs for the first time. In fact, we'll stay on the back panel because other things have changed around this as well. Nodes have had inputs of varying descriptions for some time, but the icon really does build on this. There is now a USB audio input. This joins HDMI, eARC, optical and coaxial, and for the first time an analog input as well. This means that you could use the icon to basically act as the hub for a complete system. And this makes more sense when you consider the fact that it's also a fully functioning preamp as well, with 100-step volume control, which is extremely linear and extremely consistent and can be used within the app. Neither is Bluesound done there. If you look on the side, you'll find a 6.35mm headphone socket, and actually there's one on the other side as well, because Bluesound figures that you want to be able to connect on whichever side is most convenient to you. This uses a special headphone amplifier using the THX AAA standard. It's not the first time we've seen this on a Bluesound product. They made a Node anniversary last year as a limited edition product, which, if you like, obviously was being used as a test bed to see how this goes. It sounded absolutely brilliant, and no exception here as well. If you want a wired headphone amplifier, this is a pretty good place to start looking. If you gave up on wired headphones years ago, it doesn't matter either. As well as being able to send Bluetooth to the Node, you can then use it to transmit Bluetooth to your wireless headphones as well. So that's another option available, and it just sort of closes off a fairly hefty amount of functionality. Then, new for both the icon and has been added to other members of the Bluesound range as well, you can pay an additional sum of money, $250 at the moment, plus the need for a USB microphone, which you may or may not already have. Depending on the specifications of the microphone, you might get away without having to buy a fresh one. You can use the Dirac room optimization software to study how your complete system with the Node as part of it is performing in room, and then the Node will apply corrections to flatten out the frequency response and generally get things behaving themselves. We saw this on the NAD C700 V2, which is part of the same wider family of products. What makes the Node pretty interesting is that it will apply this functionality to pretty much everything that's connected to it. It can also make the functionality, the actual processed result, available via both the analog and digital outputs, other than the USB connection for reasons unknown. And that makes it an extraordinarily potent bit of kit. It's also a very nice and substantial piece of kit. Nodes have historically been made out of plastic. Now, there's no disrespect to that. They've been competitively priced, and it's, you know, it's a perfectly serviceable material. The icon rather ups the ante. It's metal in construction, and it uses both a front panel display and a sort of large haptic sensor at the top to give you a control interface as well. It really does feel very smart. This is a significant step forward, even allowing for the price increase over the standard Node, and I think people are going to love it. What I also think they're going to do is love how it sounds. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the standard Bluesound Nodes. They sound extremely good. I found them very forgiving, and they're very capable at playing less than perfect material. Without losing any of that ability, this pushes on, and it's a much more, I hesitate to use the word hi-fi, but it is a hi-fi product. If you play decent recordings, not necessarily high resolution recordings, but that'll help. If you play decent material through this, it shines in a way that isn't necessarily the case with the more terrestrial nodes. It really is a genuine step forward. There's more space, more three-dimensionality. I feel that the bass response has improved as well. This obviously then dovetails to it being a preamplifier. I've tested it with a pair of active speakers here, and other than the fact that, you know, being an old person, I'd quite like to have a physical volume control rather than entrusting everything to software, I can't fault it. It genuinely is impressive, and even before any Diracing has taken place, at the time of writing I don't have the kit or the license for that, but it will be coming and we can do a short update if people want it. It genuinely has impressed me throughout. It's very hard to find any significant faults with it. The headphone amplifier is superb. Its performance via the inputs is extremely good. I've watched television via the HDMI eARC and it covers dialogue extremely well and brings the same sense of sort of space, three-dimensionality and order to what you're seeing on screen. Really, at the moment, this feels like Bluesound's response to a number of new companies arriving and making some very convincing products. This is, if you like, the established order reminding them that they've still got some tricks up their sleeve and they still know how to do certain things. The result of this is extremely good news for you, the consumer. This has to be seen as pretty much the best streaming solution you can buy under £1,000 at the moment. For that reason, I've awarded it yet another exceptional badge. This is becoming habit forming and I'll need to have a look at something which doesn't blow my socks off to try and even out the balance. But nevertheless, at the moment, I can't think of another streaming platform and device that I would recommend over and above the Node Icon under £1,000. It really is the cream of the crop, and it suggests that there's more to come from the Lembrook group of companies because, you know, what with this and the C700 V2, we've seen some absolutely brilliant products and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next. If you've enjoyed this review, thank you very much. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Keep an eye out for future products and don't forget to look at the Sound Advice website as well. Thank you very much for watching and goodbye.